Hmm?
Welcome back to Planet Phobia. Like the thumbnail suggests, I asked the question, is Black Swan a horror movie? We will answer that question, but first we're going to jump into this episode of the Horror Rewind where we look at the top 10 horror movies from 2010. So stick around till the end of the video. Rare Exports: A Christmas Tale. This one takes place in the Finnish region of Lapland, where there's a discovery of an ancient burial ground made by the Sami people. We come to find out that this burial ground is for Santa Claus, because if he's unleashed, he will torture all the bad children. This one was a pleasant surprise. You can add it to your holiday horror playlist. There's a lot of action. It really does have like an original idea mixed with ancient mythology, so it's pretty cool and keeps your attention. Some of the cool scenes from this one include the giant exploding Santa Claus in the block of ice, and the creepy naked old men that are Santa's elves. If you want to check this one out, view it on Tubi.
It was 25 years ago that my father found him. He was torn to pieces and half-eaten.
The Wolfman, an American Gothic horror movie, a remake of the classic 1941 film. This one has an amazing cast, including Anthony Hopkins, Benicio del Toro, Emily Blunt, and Hugo Weaving. When an American actor returns to his ancestral home in England after the brutal death of his brother, he is bitten by a werewolf and is cursed to become one. This one is considered a flop by many and couldn't quite make back its investment of $150 million, bringing in $142 million at the box office. Despite the hate, this one makes for a good watch for those who like an atmospheric movie with gothic themes and an above-average cast. Yeah, it drags a little bit and the plot can be hit or miss at points, but overall you get what you expect from a remake of a classic monster flick. Surprisingly, this one is only available with video on demand. Paranormal Activity 2. When the Rays move into their new Southern California home, little do they realize that the house is already occupied. After coming home one day to find the house in disarray, but with no signs of forced entry or robbery, they install a video surveillance system to catch the perpetrators, but nothing prepares them for what happens next. This one made some crazy cash, breaking in $177 million versus its modest $3 million budget. Part 2 focuses on siblings Katie and Christy revisiting their past and trying to unravel the dark forces that seem to follow them. This one keeps up with the strange storyline while using found footage to engage the audience. The Paranormal Activity movies are always good for a scare and make for a creepy viewing experience. The best scene in this one is the ending with evil Katie still makes for a good jump scare and gets me every time.
Is that you? Katie?
Just seeing her come for the baby while destroying everything in her way is one of those scenes etched in my memory. View it on Amazon Prime. Stakeland. So here's a fan favorite set in an apocalyptic landscape. Instead of humans being wiped out by disease or zombies, however, Stakeland is a movie about a vampire pandemic. In Stakeland, we follow grizzled vampire hunter Mister and orphan Martin as they crisscross the country in search of New Eden, a place untouched by the brutal creatures that have taken so much from Mister and Martin. If vampires weren't bad enough, of course there's also a religious cult known as the Brotherhood that also must be dealt with. As our lead characters pick up more members along the way, can they make it to New Eden and start over, or is the world doomed forever? Find out today on Tubi.
That's it.
Heart rate stable.
If we don't use human DNA now, someone else will.
Splice is a sci-fi horror movie starring Adrian Brody and Sarah Polley, who you might remember from 2004's Dawn of the Dead. This one is a little twisted, focusing on the lead characters who are genetic engineers. They splice human and animal DNA together to try and create the perfect hybrid. When they create a female hybrid and name her Drin, they can't bring themselves to destroy her and secretly keep her alive. As the movie progresses, we watch as Drin unlocks the ability to breathe in water, and she has the power to change her sex. By the end of this one, we learn the secret of her human DNA. Watch her grow at an accelerated pace and watch in horror as the hybrid becomes more powerful than ever imagined. Check this one out on Amazon Prime. Devil. This supernatural horror flick came from the writings of M. Night Shyamalan and revolves around 5 strangers trapped in an elevator. But one of them is no mere human. Oh no, one of them is the devil. I thought this would be a fun one to throw on the list. It's certainly no masterpiece, but is a very decent horror movie that often gets overlooked. The narrator for the film explains how the devil roams the earth in search of unrepentant souls that it can take back to hell. This one definitely has the feel of an early 2010s movie. Follow the intrigue and paranoia of the 5 people trapped in the elevator. Watch as the different storylines play out while trying to figure out which one is the horned beast of Hades. Right now, it seems to only be available with video on demand. I don't blame you if you don't want to pay to see this one, but if you get the chance, it is a mid-grade horror movie and makes for an excellent watch.
Oh, jeez, whoa, Jesus.
Did you see the way those guys looked at us?
Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. This horror comedy features a pair of hillbillies who are mistaken for killers by a group of clueless college friends. Taking place in the backwoods of West Virginia, the movie follows Tucker and Dale as they work on a recently bought cabin. As a group of college friends go skinny dipping, one of them hits her head and begins to drown, until being saved by Tucker and Dale. However, the remaining friends run off thinking Tucker and Dale tried killing their friend. This movie unfolds as a series of mishaps that get misconstrued, making the pair of hillbillies look like deranged killers when they are actually anything but. This one is a fun time, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking this one out, which you can do on Amazon Prime. The Crazies. This movie is a remake of George A. Romero's classic. Best remembered for his groundbreaking zombie movies, The Crazies proved to be just as badass. And in the 2010 version, he served as the executive producer. In small-town Iowa, local residents start to go crazy and kill their friends and family with no rhyme or reason, in the most gruesome ways possible. The mystery deepens as a pilot is found in a local swamp after crashing his military plane. It is surmised the plane was carrying some biological agent that must be causing the locals to go crazy and become murderous. This one is jam-packed with grotesque kill scenes while also being a survival horror movie. Can anyone make it out of town alive, or has the damage been done? Once you go crazy, can you ever come back? Find out today on Amazon Prime.
I found another body a few days ago. Victim completely drained of blood. Please don't see that boy again.
Let Me In. This creepy romantic horror story follows child vampire Abby, played by Chloe Grace Moretz, set in the 1980s in New Mexico. Here she befriends a 12-year-old who is tormented by bullies. Soon they form a romantic bond. What a unique story this is, and an interesting take on the vampire genre of films. Maybe melancholy is the best word to describe it. Abby is basically a parasite, using a young man to help her get what she wants, only to use them until they are old and drained, and then move on to the next one. But hey, if you're an isolated, bullied young boy and an attractive vampiress shows up at your door and says, "I'll be your girlfriend," and make it so no one will bully you again, what would you do? That makes for one hell of a question, and Let Me In makes for one hell of a movie, grabbing the number 2 spot for 2010. Watch it today on Tubi. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have made it to the best horror movie of 2010. That's right, it's Black Swan.
I had the craziest dream last night about a girl who was turned into a swan, but her prince falls for the wrong girl and she kills herself.
Directed by Darren Aronofsky, who also directed Requiem for a Dream. Although not horror, I would definitely recommend this title. He has a certain gritty realism to his work and brings a unique atmosphere to all his projects. So in this one, we watch a ballet troupe vie for the coveted role of the Black Swan, one of the most famous ballet productions. Starring Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis, this one ramps up the psychological horror. I went years without watching this one, and just recently I finally watched it. The hype is real. This is an amazing movie. Coming at it from a horror fan's perspective, I didn't know if I would click with this one, but I most certainly did. It's beautiful, and how often can you say that about a horror flick? It is a slow burn, but does pick up speed, sprinkling breadcrumbs of the horror that is about to come. This one isn't about gore or monsters, but more about the mental break someone can go through when pushed to the edge. The lead character seeing herself in other people, the scene where her mother's drawings all start to switch and vibrate on the wall, led me to believe, yeah, this could be considered horror. But the scene where she transforms into the Black Swan, even just for a moment, was the clincher for me. This scene that leads to what can only be described as a perfect ending. So to answer the question, yes, Black Swan is a horror movie, and not only that, it is the best horror movie of 2010. Find out for yourself on Amazon Prime. Hey horror fans, that wraps up another episode of the Horror Rewind. At this point, I have done an episode for every year of the 2010s. I think in the next few videos, I'll be working on something interesting involving the top 100 horror movies of the 2010s. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. This is Planet Phobia signing off, and until next time, wishing you good luck on your horror journey.